new backyard while I was unpacking. I smiled at the thought of seeing me and my wife Lily growing old in the new house we just bought. While unpacking, Lily found a strange key. The top part of the key was a spider lily flower design. I put the key in a kitchen junk drawer. "Dad, I found something in the backyard," Liam said. I followed his voice and stood in front of an old house, 20 minutes into the woods of our backyard. "That's strange, the realtor didn't mention this would be on our property," Lily said. "The house is old, so maybe people forgot about it over time," I said. "You're probably right," Lily said. The small house looked inviting but needed some fixing up, with plants covering up most of the house. "Can this be my tree house?" Liam said. I looked at my son with a playful expression. "If you hunt down all the forest creatures guarding the small house, then I'll think about it," I said. "I'll do my best," Liam said, with a smile, then ran off, and Lily right behind him. I walked up to the small house, pulling off some vines. Looking through the outside window, it was hard to see inside. The most I could make out was dusty furniture. I walked back to the house feeling curious. When it was time to go to bed, I noticed something in the front yard. It was a bright red box with a purple ribbon tied to it. I grabbed the box from outside and showed my wife. "I found this in our front yard," I said. "Strange you think our neighbors would greet us to the neighborhood with cookies like the movies," Lily said, laughing. "Why do you think someone would drive all the way out in the countryside just to give us a present at night?" I said. "Maybe this is how people in the countryside greet people," Lily said. "You're probably right, I'm just overthinking it," I said. My wife hugged me and finished getting ready for bed. I put the strange box in my nightstand and then went to sleep. I drove to my job, passing historical buildings in the town. When walking into my new office job, I noticed some of my colleagues were wearing sunglasses while working. "Mr. Sky, there you are," Mr. Smith said. "Good morning, Mr. Smith. I'm excited to be here and help with the project," I said. "I was impressed with your resume and the projects you worked on with different companies." "We're just what we needed here," Mr. Smith said. "Thank you," I said. Mr. Smith showed me my private office. After a few hours of working on the computer, someone walked into my office. "Hi, I'm Scott. It's finally nice to have more creative people here," he said. "I'm Chris, and surprised this company didn't expand itself more," I said. "When the founder of this company died, his spirit haunted this building. When the grandson tried to expand it out of state, bad things kept happening, and when we work for clients, it's remote work from this state or the company only," Scott said. "That sounds like a campfire story," I said, laughing, and Scott joined me. "You'll find plenty of stories like that around here. And your new camera will be here tomorrow. So do your magic," Scott said before walking away. I got home and found my wife reading some papers with a lot of focus. "How's your studying going?" I said. "It's going great. When you left for work, a woman and her son came over to introduce themselves. They're one of our neighbors, and we had a nice chat while her son was playing with Liam," Lily said, smiling. "That was nice of the neighbor, and Liam won't make you run 1,000 miles anymore," I said, laughing. "How was work? Did you take any photos, Mr. Photographer?" Lily said. "No, just touching up some photos they gave me," I said. Before Lily could respond, Liam ran into the kitchen. With excitement, he was showing us a pair of sunglasses that his new friend gave him. "Zach said there's a club where he and his friends are in, and wants me to join it," Liam said. "I'm happy to hear that you made a friend," I said. Then noticed the sunglasses my son was holding. It looked like the ones at work. After dinner, I went to the old house in our backyard and cleaned the outside of it. When I was looking at the old house, it didn't look bad. I went back to the house and my wife was holding something in her hand. "Did you find something interesting?" I said. "I was cleaning the house and unpacking boxes when I found a box of some of your stuff. I put it inside your nightstand and remember that strange box you found." Curiosity came over me and I opened the box. There were flower seeds inside of it, Lily said. "I didn't expect that. I thought it might be a creepy object like the movies," I said. "You watch too many movies," Lily said, laughing. "You're probably right," I said, and went to bed. "Little Liam came here," a voice said, while Liam slowly woke up. "Mom, is that you?" Liam said. "No, I'm Alice, your neighbor," she said. "Why didn't you come and visit me in the daytime?" Liam said. "My parents don't like it when I leave the house," Alice said. "Are they mean to you?" Liam said. She looked nervous, walking over to Liam's bed. "No, it's other people in this town," Alice said. "What do you mean?" Liam said. But before Alice could answer, there was a gentle whistling noise and she sprinted out of Liam's bedroom. Liam ran after her, but Alice disappeared into the forest. "Honey, what are you doing outside?" Lily said. "There was a girl in my bedroom," Liam said. "You are just imagining things now. Go to bed," Lily said. As they walked back to bed, Chris was taking landscape photos for a few days when I noticed that the meadow was filled with heather purple flowers calmly blowing in the wind. I picked one up from the ground and noticed some sort of glitter in the center of it. I was about to smell the flower when someone yelled at me out of nowhere. "Don't smell that flower, it's evil," the stranger said. An elderly woman walked up to me in frustration. "I'm trying to save your life, idiot," the stranger said. "Who are you and why are you freaking out about flowers?" I said. "My name is Grace and this town isn't as friendly as you think," she said. "Okay, let's say I believed you, then why is everyone so welcoming to me?" I said. "I'll answer all your questions, but you have to follow me back to my place," Grace said. I was hesitant to follow Grace back to her place, but my gut was telling me I can trust her. So, I walked to Grace's house. It was small and cozy with a beautiful garden surrounding it. I sat in her living room with a cup of tea while Grace grabbed a box full of documents. In 1695, this place was originally founded by a community of witches that were peaceful until the Pilgrims discovered them. The witches kept their distance due to the Pilgrims' lack of being open-minded. But one day the Pilgrims had enough of them. If they weren't willing to convert, then they must die. So, the witches were attacked in 1698, but a small group of them did escape into the tunnels that are hard to find even to this day. When they made it to the hideout spot, a plan was made to get revenge. In 1704, the Pilgrims were celebrating at the town center when a creature came out of nowhere and abducted most of the Pilgrims, trapped in another world that turned them into shadow people with purple eyes. The people that did survive made a deal with the witches. They will get their family back, but a soul trade must be made. The town has new people move in, but they change and never go back to being themselves, Grace said. After listening to Grace, I thought the story interesting but has to a folklore. "Thank you for telling me the history of this place, but how is this related to a simple flower?" I said. "Those flowers are a part of the soul exchange," Grace said. I started to feel uncomfortable and made up an excuse to leave, but before I did, she said, "Take this book and read it in private. Also, take some photos using a camera that your job didn't give you and you'll see them too," Grace said. A month has passed since the incident with Grace. Me and Scott hang out on weekends. I fixed up the old house in the backyard. It's Liam's treehouse now, and my wife is really into gardening. Some of the purple flowers started to grow at our house. Everything was going great in my life until one day at Scott's house. We were doing our normal hangout routine. when I noticed an old family photo hanging from the wall. It was a woman, child, and man in it. "Hey Scott, is this a new photo?" I said. "That's an old family photo portrait I found in the basement when I was looking for a dress to send to my niece who lives in New York," Scott said. "I have friends in New York. It's a nice place to live if you're looking for something new to do every day," I said. "I think my brother and niece are ignorant, ungrateful, and disrespectful. I built this place for our family for them and they leave to some city that will never benefit from," Scott said, in an older deep voice that wasn't his, with glowing purple eyes with anger in them. "Scott, are you okay?" "What's happening?" I said. I tried to get up and leave, but Scott blocked me from the front door. "Your family is next and will fulfill your purpose," Scott said. Then passed out on the floor. I ran to my car and drove home. When I got there, a note was left by my wife. "Liam wasn't feeling good, so I took him to the doctor and will call you later. Hugs and kisses." I sat down by the table trying to calm down when I remembered what Grace said: those flowers are a part of the soul exchange. I got the book she gave me and read through them. A few hours passed, and I felt confused and lost in my thoughts that I missed the phone calls from Lily. When reading the book, I discovered all the purple flowers that are planted in town were harmless until the witches did some experiments with the seeds. Until they found a way to make them like a poisonous chemical that allows the souls trapped in another realm to take over a person's body. I was about to read step 3 when Lily and Liam walked in the living room. "Hey honey," Lily said in a tired voice. "How was the doctor's visit, little man?" I said. "It was bad. I have a cold," Liam said. "Sorry to hear that, buddy. How about I work from home for a week and spend time with you?" I said. "Really, can you do that?" Liam said. "Yes, I can," I said as Liam hugged me with excitement and ran to his room making a list of things to do. "Are you sure you want to do that?" "I can take care of him. I would feel bad for distracting you from job," Lily said. "Not at all. You deserve a break from taking care of our home and family," I said. "Thanks, honey," Lily said, smiling. Lily and Liam were asleep while I emailed my boss for approval and then went to bed. Liam sneaked out of bed and into the forest to play with Alice at the old house at their usual time. "Hey, Alice, when can I tell my friends about you?" Liam said. "If you do, then my parents will take me away from here," she said. "It's just that you are my only friend here. That doesn't make me feel alone," Liam said. "What do you mean?" Alice said. "The kids are strange when talking to them. It's as if they're different people sometimes. One minute we're talking normally, then they're in another era," Liam said. Alice looked concerned. She needed to tell him what is happening. "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm glad you're here. I have a friend in this town," Alice said. Liam hugged Alice before she disappeared again. "I made this necklace. It will protect you from the flowers, and a map of the underground tunnels. Just in case you need it, but you can't tell anyone about it, okay?" she said. "I promise," Liam said before going back to bed. "I've been working from home for a few days now." Me and Liam were playing and taking photos around town. I had to be clever with the camera my company didn't give me. The only cameras in this town were the ones my job gave me. I drove to some spot in town and noticed that there were strange shadow creatures with glowing eyes in my photos. After submitting my work pictures, I looked at the other photos. A chill ran through my body. The photos looked normal except for the shadow creatures behind the townspeople smiling with evil looks on their faces. "Boo," Lily said as I jumped a little in my chair. "Dinner's ready." "And why so jumpy?" Lily said. "I'm probably just tired from looking at the computer screen for too long, that's all," I said, laughing it off. "Nice Photoshop on those pictures. Is it another personal project you're working on?" Lily said. "It is. Just thought I would challenge myself," I said. She hugged me and I followed her into the kitchen. At the dinner table, I noticed Liam was wearing sunglasses at the table. A bad feeling came over me. I was hoping it wasn't step 2 of Another Realm. My head hurts and the lights are bothering me, Liam said. I was too nervous to speak. All I could think of was I needed to visit Grace again. Liam, how about you go to bed early? I'll check up on you later, honey, Lily said in a caring tone. Liam nodded his head and went to his bedroom. I finished my food and quickly went to bed with my wife. I returned to work and everything was normal except half of the coworkers were missing, even Scott. Mr. Smith walked into my office handing me a letter and said this is a requirement for all employees to attend, so make sure to bring your family with you. Then he left. I opened the letter. Dear new residents, we welcome you to the annual party that our town hosts once a year. The event will be at Stoneheart Park. Something felt off. First Grace, Scott, and now Liam. I need to speak to Grace immediately. But when I left work to go to her house, it wasn't there. As if it never existed, there was just an empty plot of land staring back at me. It was 6 p.m. and I was getting ready with my wife. She put some lotion on me that I'd never seen before. Is this a new lotion? I said. Yeah, I found it in one of our moving boxes, Lily said. I smiled at her. Lily always knows how to calm me down. We got into the car and drove to Stoneheart Park. The people there were acting in typical excitement with smiles on their faces. My wife and son Liam were socializing with the townspeople like the social butterflies they were. As I mingled with a few people and coworkers, an announcement was made over the speaker. I hope everyone is enjoying their time here. We have a special surprise for our new guest. Would you please make your way to the mermaid statue holding a sword that's in the center of the water fountain? Something felt off as the townspeople were clapping, but before I could do anything, someone was leading me to the water fountain. I made my way there and stood in between my wife and son. The people with the sunglasses and Scott were also in the area. This town appreciates what you have done for our community. But it's time for our true family to emerge and be with us, the announcer said. Suddenly, a large circle started to form around the people gathered by the water fountain. There were crystals forming from the ground to the surface. I tried to move, but my body was stiff as if I was having sleep paralysis. I tried to keep a grip on Lily and Liam's hands, but slowly let go as my mind becomes foggy with another voice talking to me inside my mind. As everyone in the circle was enchanted, the shadow creatures with glowing purple eyes started to make their way toward them from the woods, while the townspeople kept chanting a spell loudly. But when the shadow creatures tried to enter the circle, an orange color started to form on their body, showing plant-like vines and catching on fire, perishing them into ashes. I snapped out of the enchanted spell to see Lily with a half-moon glowing tattoo on her forehead. Dad, we need to get out of here, Liam said, shouting at me. I grabbed Lily and followed Liam into the forest as we were being chased by some townspeople. 2 people attacked me from behind. I was struggling to fight them off me, while Lily is protecting Liam from the woman. Why won't you just obey so we get our loved ones back? The woman said. You're crazy. To think that my family would give up their lives so your entitled, ignorant, and privileged relatives can spread evil to the world, Lily said, kicking the woman. If those outcast witches just converted to my ancestors' ways of living, none of this would be happening. Besides, you're an outsider. It's not like you had a purpose in life anyway, the woman said in a vain tone. A deep-seated rage grew inside of Lily and she punched the woman. While her hands were glowing orange, the woman hit a tree that made her pass out. Mom, help me, Liam said as I got done fighting the 2 townspeople. The stranger ran into a cave with Liam. Me and Lily went to go find him. So when were you going to tell me that you can do magic all of a sudden? I said. When we first moved here, I noticed something strange with the townspeople. Their eyes would look purple in certain lighting, but I brushed it off. Until I ran into an elderly woman named Grace. We chatted for a bit, which eventually led to the history of the town and how one of my ancestors helped create the spell but didn't join in on casting it. At first, I didn't believe her until she gave me some paperwork that had information on it. When I connected the dots, I went back to her for help to try and get our family out of this place. Grace showed me how to use my magic abilities that were dormant, Lily said. You also know Grace? I said. Yeah, why? Lily said. A month ago she warned me about the people in this town. I didn't listen to her. Until there was an incident with Scott when his eyes were glowing purple, I said. I never thought we would both attract crazy people. We really should go to therapy for that, Lily said, lightly laughing. I smile at her. Lily always knows what to say to me. Over here, a child said. We turned our heads to the right to see a girl around elementary age, wearing a long dress and short hair. She was motioning for us to follow her. I was hesitant for a moment, but looking into her eyes, I could tell she wasn't a threat. My name's Alice and I'm Liam's friend. I know where they're hiding him, but we must move quickly before they finish the ritual, she said. They made it to the room where Liam was being held hostage. The 6 people in the room were chanting spells, but were interrupted. Lily used her magic to command roots from the earth to trap the 3 people in the room. In a cocoon like a caterpillar. Alice was untying Liam while Chris was fighting off the 3 other people in the room. When I got finished beating them up, we followed Alice out of the tunnel. We entered a room through a loose floorboard and walked out of an old house. It didn't dawn on me until I turned back to look at the house. It was the old house on my property. How did you know that there was a tunnel system connected to our property? I said, but Alice stayed silent, leading us to a car. This car has enough gas to get you out of this town. You guys need to get far away from here and never return, Alice said. You have to come with us. We can't just leave you behind, Lily said. I appreciate the offer, but I can't leave my own family behind, Alice said with a sad smile. We can't force you to come with us, but if you ever do leave this town, please find us, Lily said. Liam and Alice hugged each other before he had to leave. Liam slowly teared up the farther away he got from Alice. On Liam's 20th birthday, he drove back to the small town that gave him nightmares but had his true friend there. When Liam drove into the town, it wasn't the same, just abandoned buildings that had been burnt down to the ground. He was confused and worried, so he drove back to the last place he saw her. The old house in his backyard. Upon arrival, somehow his family's house was spared, not a scratch on it. Liam walked to the old house and opened the door. Everything was still there from that night. Except a letter on a table. Dear Liam, I know you're probably wondering why the town is abandoned and what happened to me. It's not easy to explain, but I'll try my best. When we met as children, I lied to you about some of my past. I was part of the original colony of witches, and my mother's name was Grace. She was a powerful spellcaster when the pilgrims couldn't convert the witches to their religion. They killed many of our people, so we made a deal with a powerful entity for soul switching. That way we would have our power back, but after a few years things got out of hand. Innocent people were getting hurt, and my mother wasn't having it. Me and my mother cast a spell on me and her to stay immortal until the town is destroyed, but we had to change our appearance often. When your family moved in, we found out that your mother was a part of this town's history. We knew the townspeople would try to steal the magic. You were born with magic, so I made the hard decision to steal your magic and transfer it to me by giving you that necklace. If I hadn't done that, they would have killed you. When you left that night, my mother and I plus your magic opened a portal to the underworld, where it dragged everyone in town down there to suffer for eternity. After everyone in town was dragged down there, we set the buildings on fire except for your house, where me and my mother turned into ashes as the curse no longer existed. I hope you understand what I did was for your safety, and I truly was a friend to you." Liam stood in the empty room puzzled with mixed emotions, but most importantly was glad. Alice was in a better place. I took the spider lily flower key Mom gave me and set it on the table. Then walked back to my car and drove out of town, but I thought I saw something in the forest looking at me.